threatening messages written across whiteboards left anonymously in a classroom.
Plus, Congress has formally requested information from the university regarding Chinese students. Stick around to find out why.
The expansion of the Indiana Lifeline law has passed. Find out what this means next. All your campus news, weather, and sports is straight ahead. Fast Track is back. Happy Friday, Boilermakers. I'm Justine Hinckley.
And I'm Kyler Casbin. It's Friday, March 28th. Here's a look at your campus news for the week.
First, to a developing story. Thursday morning, in a woman, gender, and sexuality studies class, a threatening message was found written on each of the whiteboards in the classroom in Grissom Hall. A Fast Track reporter is a student in the class and witnessed this firsthand. We obtained photos of the message. As you can read here, it reads, "Comment tuer vos professeurs." Translated from French, that means how to kill your teacher, specifically using the feminine version of the French word for teacher. The professor prompted the students to leave the classroom, and the incident was reported to Purdue police. The professor, who we are choosing not to name for their safety, told our reporter that they have been a victim of online harassment before. We contacted Purdue police, who confirmed that they are investigating this as a suspicious incident. PUPD also told us that it isn't clear at this point who, if anyone, was targeted. We'll continue to follow this story.
Purdue is one of 6 universities who were recently sent a letter from a congressional committee seeking information on Chinese students. The House Select Committee Chairman, John Moulinar, voiced concerns about the enrollment of Chinese nationals in STEM programs and their involvement in federally funded research. In a letter addressed to President Meng Chang, lawmakers requested detailed data on the number of Chinese students enrolled, the sources of their funding, and whether they are engaged in research that could have military applications. According to the letter, the request is part of a broader effort to assess potential national security risks linked to foreign student participation. When asked whether the university intends to comply with April 1st deadline, Purdue did not provide a response.
The Indiana Lifeline law currently protects students calling for help for a friend involved in an alcohol-related medical emergency. The caller is shielded from getting in trouble even if they had been underage drinking. But the person they were calling for could still face prosecution.
But that is about to change. Purdue student government has once again been leading the charge with the Lifeline law, this time to expand it. And the bill that would do just that is now headed to the governor's desk. Reporter Ellie Jones has the update.
If students could change law to save lives in 2012, then we can and we will do it again in 2025.
Former Senator James Merritt aimed to remove the barriers for young people needing to call 911 by providing amnesty against prosecution for underage drinking. It has been a long haul since the original signing by Merritt. Purdue student government, along with a coalition of students from Butler, IU, Marion, Indiana State, DePaul, and Valparaiso, have been working hard to get the new law into effect. Since our last update, the bill has passed in the Indiana House with a vote of 87-3. The bill now will be set on the Governor Mike Braun's desk for the final say. Rebecca Seener, Vice President of Purdue Student Government, talked to us about the history behind the bill and that without the work of PSG members 12 years ago, this may never have gone into effect in the first place, as well as some of the challenges they have faced.
2014, former Senator Merritt actually amended the bill to give protection for those who are victims of sex offenses, as well as those who witness and report what they believe to be a crime, right? Still don't have protection for the person in need of medical attention. Actually, the original intention was to gain protection for the person in need of medical attention too. But this got negotiated out of the bill because the legislature was a little concerned about campuses being lenient in regards to underage drinking with this law being passed.
Despite these challenges, Senior is looking forward to the future and hopes that the work inspires new students.
And to be inspired by the work of the 2012 students and to know that students changed law in 2012, I really hope that our work now in 2024 and 2025 inspires future students to get involved.
The Purdue student government hopes that this journey will motivate new and upcoming students to become more involved in policy work and making legislative change. Reporting for Fast Track News, I'm Ellie Jones.
If the bill does get passed, it could go into effect as early as July 1st. Turning to weather now, it's almost April. I can't wait any longer for it to warm up outside.
Well, you might be in luck. Meteorologist James Smith is here with a first look at the forecast.
All right, good morning, Boilermakers. We have what we've all been waiting for. We have that classic Midwest spring weather going on. We got those 40s, the 50s, the 60s, and 70s, all interchanging every single day. We love that here in the Midwest. It's just great. But we do have some warmer weather ahead today. We got that high of 77, and we're going to be in the 60s around the 60s all weekend. But it's going to be pretty windy, and it's going to be pretty rainy as well. But looking at today, we have a low of 60 and the high of 77. So if you're traveling to Indianapolis for the game, if you're going to be hanging out with friends to watch it, it's going to be pretty nice. But it's going to be windy and wet with a low of about 60.
On March 31st, students who applied regular decision to Purdue will know whether or not they will be coming to West Lafayette in the fall. At the University Senate meeting on Monday, President Mung Chiang relayed that Purdue continues to see record numbers of undergraduate applications. This year alone, more than 86,000 students applied to Purdue seeking admission for the fall 2025 semester. Last year in the fall of 2024, Purdue had the largest class of Indiana new beginners on record and served the largest number of Indiana residents in school history. Included in his remarks, President Chiang stated that the university is adjusting their admissions rate to whatever point it takes to avoid over-enrollment, while ensuring as many qualified in-state applicants are admitted as possible.
Those passing through Beering Hall may have noticed a new area on the ground floor. Campus returned from spring break in time for Beering's ground floor to be finished. Per Lori Sparger, both the Associate Vice President for Policy Planning and Chief Operating Officer for the College of Liberal Arts, the remodel brings a new, quiet study space for all students, 2 huddle rooms for grad students, and a new active learning classroom to hold classes this fall. The hallway was widened into a student commons, featuring cubbies and carpeted areas. Students can expect similar furniture to the basement in these sections to come April 18th. The CLA Career Center remains on Beering's 6th floor for now, but will be in University Hall upon its completion. Up next, do you know what a Boilermaker is? Jimmy Fallon doesn't.
And still to come, Fast Track Sports is headed to Indianapolis for the Sweet 16. Can the Boilers beat the Cougars? We've got a preview.
Next week, Purdue students are going to be voting for the student government election, but only one name is going to appear on the presidential ticket. What you need to know about voting and why the opposition is calling foul. Next.
Hola from Spain.
G'day, mates.
Buenos dias.
Bonjour.
Hello from South Korea.
I'm studying abroad in Valencia, Spain this semester.
I'm studying abroad in Sydney, Australia.
I'm studying abroad in Madrid, Spain.
I'm studying at Seoul National University.
At Issy Supero in Toulouse, France.
And I'm really getting to enjoy meeting all the new people and the culture.
How different it is from Purdue University.
It is an absolutely fantastic experience.
I'm living my best life.
I can't wait to see you guys all overseas soon. A bientôt.
Adios.
Nos vemos de España.
Voting in the Purdue student government election starts next week, but the election hasn't been free of controversy.
Reporter Will Courtney has the story.
Next week, Purdue students across campus are going to have the ability to vote for their student government leaders. Starting March 31st and ending on April 3rd, students can vote for their senators and the presidential ticket. But the ballot is fairly barren. We spoke with Mallory Kempf and Eli Ade, both members on the PSG election committee, about what to expect with the upcoming election.
Yeah, so they're voting for the PSG president and vice president as well as senators, and senators are by college, so depending on what college they're in, they can vote for a senator there.
But those students could vote. Their options this election are going to be very limited.
We had 3 tickets all in petitioning, and what petitioning looks like for president, vice president is you go around campus, both online and in person, and you need to get 1,000 signatures from the undergraduate student body. And unfortunately, only one of those campaigns got that as 1,000 signature mark, so only one has actually made it through. None of the Senate tickets are contested either.
Originally, Isaac Grossman, Camila Calderon, and current PSG Vice President Rebecca Senior all ran for the student body president. Senior ran on 3 agenda items: expanding lifeline law education, AI assistance and advising, and increasing voter accessibility. Nicholas Newman, her pick for vice president, told us a little bit about that AI initiative.
There's a lot more technicality behind this, but developing an AI model in which students can input their class schedule, their current degree progression, and then from there use AI to figure out what classes should I be taking, how much longer would it take me to progress through my degree with an additional minor.
But some of Senior's now former opposing candidates are crying foul and claiming that the election was swayed in her favor with their removal. In a statement sent to Fast Track News, the Calderon Yuvraj campaign had grievance claims filed against them for disrespectful language. That language came from one of their campaign documents, which wrote, quote, "You might not have heard of Purdue student government, so it can be hard to care." This lack of awareness already speaks to a major shortcoming on the current leadership's part, because PSG is equipped with a huge budget, great connections, and institutional resources to help you. Those claims seem to have violated PSG election rules, forbidding public displays of disrespect for an opposing campaign. I spoke with Rana Yuvraj, Camila Calderon's vice presidential pick Thursday, to better understand their campaign's claims. Though he admitted that he didn't have the votes to qualify as a candidate, he felt that the whole institution was flawed and that the election wasn't clean.
So in the grievance report, she points out that this is disrespect, visceral disrespect. But this is just a critique of the current government. And that's the point that Kami and I have made, that if we can't make a simple critique of the current government, how can you run an election and have the democratic process run fairly?
Senior said Thursday she was disappointed by these comments coming from the Calderon Yuvraj campaign.
Yeah, I would just say that these accusations are pretty they're unsubstantiated, right? These accusations are unsubstantiated, and it really does hurt me personally to have a student target our campaign and target our initiatives, because I have worked very hard as vice president and all that I've done. It took me 2 years to change the Lifeline law, and I have big ambitions for next year and getting involved at the State House. And so it really hurts to say that to have a student say that there's a shortcoming of the current administration.
There was a debate scheduled for the student government presidential election, but that debate was canceled as there would only be one candidate appearing for the event. Reporting from Fendler Hall, my name is Will Courtney, Fast Track News.
Students will be able to vote for the candidates entirely online, and there are no in-person locations. The terms for all positions are 1 year.
Wednesday night on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, they held a rap session where they listed off the Sweet 16's mascots. When they mentioned Purdue, they questioned what exactly a Boilermaker is.
A tiger is a cat, and a wildcat's a cat. And BYU's the Cougars. That's another B-ball. Cat. There's Alabama, Crimson Tide, Texas Tech, Red Raiders. Maryland's the Terrapins, and Florida's the Gators. And what's a Boilermaker? Oh, the Purdue Boilermakers, yeah. We'll come back to that. Ole Miss are the Rebels, and Duke's the Blue Devils. Michigan's the Wolverines. They're on another level. The Boilermakers, though. Seriously, Jimmy, it's just a guy that makes boilers. Really? Yes, I Googled it. A skilled tradesperson who fabricates, maintains, and repairs boilers, tanks, and other large pressure valves.
Why is Purdue called that?
I don't know, Jimmy. I don't know what to tell you.
Oh, it's okay, sir. Hey, how about we finish with the other team so I can get on with the show?
That sounds good. Hit it. MI State.
Spartans.
The Razorbacks.
The Vols. Why is Purdue the Boilermakers? We don't know at all. Thank you, sir. So helpful.
Purdue Pete commented on the Instagram post with a brief summary of what exactly a Boilermaker is.
So yeah, speaking of the game, we have obviously Purdue's, everybody knows that we're all playing Houston at 10:09 Eastern. It's going to be around 68 at game time, so maybe if it's not raining at that time, you could be watching the game outside, or you could be walking around, going wherever you want to watch the game. It'll be pretty nice out there. Looking at our weekend, though, it's going to be, like I said, there's going to be some storms. There's going to be some rain. We're going to have that high of 77 today. And then tomorrow we're going to go down to 67. It's not going to feel that much different. Then we're going to go back up to 69 on Sunday with a low of 41. That 41 is going to transition into Monday, where we have a high of around 43. But that low of 59 on Saturday is going to be in the nighttime. Remember when you're walking back from the bars, if you're of age, or from a friend's house, from a party, whatever you're doing. But speaking of that rain, this is what the radar is going to look like for the weekend. It's going to be coming from the southwest, and it's just going to be kind of scattered around off and on. Sometimes the sun will peek out. It'd be pretty cloudy sometimes as well. But looking ahead to some brighter news, actually not so bright news, we have the sunset at 8:07, and it's going to be getting, and we all know it's going to be getting later and later. So evening activities, something if you have plans after classes, that sunset's getting later and later. So And so looking at our forecast for today, for the rest of the week, starting on Sunday, it's going to be pretty stormy, like I said. It's going to be with a high of 69, low of 4, like I said, with that low of 41. Then we're going to have a high of 44 on Monday. It's going to be pretty cloudy, with going down to 30. Like I said, that classic Midwest weather. Then the sun's going to peek out a little bit on Tuesday. We're going to have that high of 53. It's still going to feel pretty cold. But then on Wednesday, we're going to get the temperature's going to go up, but we're going to have storms all day on and off, and then we're going to have a low of 51 with that high of 68. Then for the rest of the weekend, we're going to have it's going to be pretty rainy, just like this coming weekend. It's going to be 65, 62, 63 with with lows in the high 40s. But it's going to be pretty rainy weekend next weekend.
Just ahead, a recap on all of the sporting events you may have missed over break, plus a Sweet 16 preview and highlights from the NCAA Wrestling Championships. I'm Connor Sutterly. Don't go away. Sports is next.
Creeping up from the heathens, got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna go eat, then you know I'm gon' feed them. If you're coming for me, hope you're ready for a demon. I got drive, got sight, always have a vision. I don't lie at night, I be in my feelings. I'ma be fine, need time, and I'll soon be winning. I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens, got will, got...
For the 6th time since 2017, Purdue has made it to the Sweet 16. Led by Naismith Player of the Year finalist Braden Smith and tournament-leading rebounder Trey Kaufman-Wren, the 4th-seeded Boilermakers will face off against the 1st-seeded Houston Cougars tonight at 10:09 p.m. Trey Kaufman-Wren has taken over for Purdue in the tournament, ranking 5th in both points per game and field goal percentage. Braden Smith has run the offense well, tied for 4th in assists per game, while also staying committed to defense, where he's tied for 5th in steals per game. The Cougars have made their 6th Sweet 16 in a row, led by senior guard L.J. Cryer, who tops both teams in 22.5 points per game, while shooting 50% from three-point range. Senior Jawan Roberts has added 12 points per game of his own, as well as averaging 5.5 rebounds per game. Houston is coming off a tight win against Gonzaga 81-76, whereas Purdue is coming off a dominating win against McNeese State 76-62. Both teams are looking to make their 3rd Elite Eight appearance since 2019. Over spring break, the men's basketball team won their first 2 games of the NCAA tournament against High Point University and then McNeese State. The Boilermakers started their return to March by battling High Point University. The first half remained a close affair, until there was around 8 minutes left when the Boilers went on a run to gain a 10-point lead before half. Purdue would stay in the lead for the remainder of the game. Trey Kaufman-Wren led the way with 21 points, and Braden Smith was right behind with 20 of his own. The final score was 75-63 Boilers. Then, This past Saturday, the Boilers played McNeese State, a team that went viral earlier in the regular season due to their team student manager Amir Khan. McNeese was a frequent Cinderella pick for the tournament due to their popularity and the fact that prior to the tournament they had won 11 games straight. Expectations were high for McNeese after they defeated a number 5 seed, Clemson, in the first round, but the Boilers were ready to put an end to the Cinderella tale. Purdue came out strong from the first minute of game time and broke out in an early lead with the help of 6 3-pointers in the first half. 4 different Boilers scored double-digit points en route to a dominating win, including Trey Kaufman-Wren with 22, Fletcher Lawyer with 15, C.J. Cox with 11, and Braden Smith with 10. The Boilers came out with a win 76-62. Over spring break, Purdue baseball played 5 games over the course of 2 series. On the Friday before break, they started a 4-game series against UIC, in which they won the only 2 games played, as the other 2 were canceled due to weather. The following Tuesday, the Boilers took down the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee by a score of 12-8. That Friday, the University of Michigan came to town, where the Boilermakers dropped 2 out of 3, ultimately losing them their first series of the year. Finally, this past Tuesday, the 25th, Valparaiso University came to Alexander Field, where the Boilermakers handled business and won 6-3. The Purdue softball team also had a few games over break. Starting the Friday before break, they traveled to UCLA but ended up being swept in a 3-game series. Following that, they played 4 games in Oklahoma City, losing and winning 1 game in both matchups against Maryland and Wisconsin. The men's tennis team had a tough spring break, going 1-3 in 4 matches. Despite the team losses, Alexa Krivakopik continues to play well, even defeating 2 ranked opponents, 5th-ranked Ozan Barris of Michigan State and 12th-ranked Kenta Miyoshi of Illinois. Krivakopik went 3-1 in singles over the break. The women's tennis team remained unbeaten at home and are now 9-0 at Schwartz this spring after playing 2 matches there over break. Carmen Gallardo Guevara improved her singles record this spring to an impressive 8-3 after the 2 matches. In the track and field NCAA championships, Jalen Elrod finished her season with the first-team All-American honors after an 8th-place finish in the pentathlon. She became the first All-American in the pentathlon in school history. Cameron Miller and Praise Aniamaka also received first-team All-American honors. Miller finished 3rd in the 200-meter event, and Aniamaka finished 5th in triple jump. Lastly, the Boilermaker golf team traveled to Bowles Bay Golf Club and won their 2nd straight tournament. This is the first time since the 1980-81 season Purdue Golf has won back-to-back full-size tournaments. Last weekend, Purdue Wrestling ended their season with a 13th place finish in the NCAA championships and 2 All-Americans on the national podium. Sophomore Joey Blaze became the youngest finalist in at least 75 years with a 2nd place finish in the 157-pound weight class. On his way to the finals, Blaze upset Tyler Kasak, the top-seeded favorite from Penn State. Senior Matt Ramos also had a great run in the tournament, finishing 4th place in the 125-pound weight class. Ramos and Blaze became Purdue's 62nd and 63rd All-Americans all-time. Ramos capped off his historic college career with 14 NCAA tournament wins. That ties a program record held by 2-time national champion Arnold Plaza. Ramos also became Purdue's first 2-time All-American since 2006. Matt Ramos has his sights set on the future. He will continue training with hopes to compete in the 2028 Olympics. This next 2025 to 2026 women's basketball season will have an entirely different roster, with 5 of the players transferring out. The players entering the transfer portal include freshmen Amaya Reynolds and Jordan Poole, sophomore Sophie Swanson, junior Mila Reynolds, and senior Jayla Smith. Additionally, junior Elena Harper will be retiring from basketball entirely. We will continue to follow the changes that are being made to the women's basketball team this coming season. Next up, a story about a new sport on the rise at Purdue. We go to Fast Track contributor Madeline Misterka with the story.
Pickleball is America's fastest growing sport, and Purdue students are getting involved this spring through the Purdue Pickleball Club's St. Patty's Day tournament. Event Chair Quincy Johnson hopes this event will help people build connections on campus.
We like to throw tournaments, get as many people involved, kind of grow the club. So right now we have 150 members in our club, but a lot of the people here, probably over half, are actually not members. So we like to host these tournaments as a way to have the members, get in, get some action with the club, but then also get our name out there, let new people get to know us, and hopefully have some fun.
The event was open for anyone to join, with an entry fee of $5 for club member teams and $15 for the general public.
Honestly, a great event that's put on by our event crew. I know Quincy over there, he's working really hard trying to put this and get this going and have it running. I'm sure everyone's having a lot of fun today, and it's just a great event to be a part of.
Although it was a casual event, CJ Soika, the competitive team coach, says the tournament was formatted like a traditional pickleball competition to help give new players a taste of what a competitive setting would look like.
It starts off with a round robin, maybe like 4 or 5 teams per group, and they play each other. And depending on how well they do, they get seeded into a single elimination bracket, and then they play to win.
Beyond the St. Patrick's Day gear given to winners, Johnson thinks pickleball is fulfilling for anyone to pick up.
I mean, just look how fun this is. We have 50-something people in here. It's really nice outside, but when it's not nice outside, you don't have to worry about the weather. You can come in here Friday night at midnight playing with your friends. It's really easy, doesn't take a lot of skill. You can get into it. It's honestly for everyone.
There's professors that play who are like in their 60s or 70s, and they're phenomenal players. We got younger demographics like this. We're all like 20 years old. We play, and yeah, everybody in between.
Reporting from West Lafayette, I'm Madeline Misterka.
If you're interested in joining this club, check out their Instagram at Boiler Pickleball. Now we go to reporters Katie Doninger and Josh Warman with a message for our viewers.
Hi, I'm reporter Katie Doninger.
And I'm reporter Josh Warman. We will be attending the Sweet 16 Purdue game against Houston tonight.
Look out for our post about the matchup on our Instagram, at Purdue Fast Track News. Speaking of Josh, we need to get to Indianapolis for the game.
That's a wrap for sports, but stay tuned. Fast Track will be back right after this quick timeout.
Now, it's time for our question of the week. How will Purdue do versus Houston?
We asked students what they thought.
Hopefully we win. I'd like us to make it to the finals again and hopefully actually win this time. Yes. I believe in them. I don't know them, but I believe in them. Yeah.
I'm feeling pretty excited about it. I don't know. I love March Madness. I feel like everyone's feeling, optimistic.
I think we got this. I think we need to just keep playing how we've been playing. We played very well last week against McNeese. Shut down the team. They were the team the media was following. They were no big business. And we played very strong. So I feel very good about next week.
And so looking at our forecast for today, for the rest of the week starting on Sunday, it's going to be pretty stormy, like I said. It's going to be with a high of 69, low of 4, like I said, with that low of 41. Then we're going to have a high of 44 on Monday. It's going to be pretty cloudy, with going down to 30. Like I said, that classic Midwest weather. Then the sun's going to peek out a little bit on Tuesday. We're going to have that high of 53. It's still going to feel pretty cold, but then on Wednesday we're going to get the temperature's going to go up, but we're going to have storms all day on and off, and then we're going to have a low of 51 with that high of 68. Then for the rest of the weekend, we're going to have, it's going to be pretty rainy, just like this coming weekend. It's going to be 65, 62, 63 with with lows in the high 40s. But it's going to be pretty rainy weekend next weekend.
And that's a wrap from us, Boilermakers.
Thanks for watching. We will be back with another show next week.